How you guys doing today? I'm going to change screens. Hope so. All right, so welcome to our 2019 Best Practices Technology session. And we're going to cut this in half. We're going to do the first half, we're going to do a panel with CORFAC brokers who are using different types of marketing and app tools that we're getting some traction with that you guys can learn. And then the second half, we're going to jump into some technology trends that I think are affecting us and commercial real estate. I'm going to go ahead and let's move this forward here. All right, so first off, you had a chance to hear from Leroy Breinholt, and from Leroy, his brother Tyson Breinholt, also Jason Price and Brian Ruddle. We are grateful that you guys chose Scottsdale, Arizona to come down and have this conference down here, and I'm a part of the brokers as well, and all of our staff, welcome. A couple things I would like to do real quick here is just kind of let you know if you've had a chance to visit some of the states, or if you haven't, we would love for you to take part and see different parts of Arizona. I wanted to show you just a couple of places. This is our winter, even though this last week seemed a little bit colder. Yeah, my wife and I, we like to take our truck and RV, and that little white dot's my trailer out there at Lake Pleasant. And that's just a little further north, west from here. If you take our I-17 and go up north, you'll run into Sedona, which is just gorgeous. All the red rocks up there. You'll also hit Oak Creek Canyon, a little further north. Great place to go fishing. And of course, a little further north up in Flagstaff, those are the San Francisco Peaks. They call them the San Francisco Peaks because when you're on top of that mountain, you can see San Francisco. However, if you wanted to go up there today, this is what you're getting. You're not getting the as warm as you like it. Grand Canyon, and once again, if you guys are up there today, it looks more like this. And if you go even a little further north, you can hit Antelope Canyon. And these rock formations up there are gorgeous. So I am very grateful that you guys have not come here during our heat wave during the summer. Show of hands, who here has been in Phoenix during our heat waves? All right, so you guys recognize that something happens to our state. We physically move closer to the sun and things begin to melt. It's just how things go. But if you are driving during our heat wave, I suggest that the cars you guys rent, make sure that the cars have some sort of window tint because it will leave a mark, all right? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and meet and introduce our tech panelists here. So from Weber, Wood, Mettinger, we've got Kevin Joseph. Now Kevin is also the vice chair for our tech committee. And I'm going to read just a little bit about Kevin real quick. He's been in real estate, commercial real estate for 2 years. He focuses on industrial and secondarily plays in the office realm. He is a former IBM cybersecurity consultant for Fortune 500 retail accounts. Also, his favorite hobby is playing golf, and also he's an official for the NCAA ice hockey. And a big accomplishment for Kevin is he is a contributor to securityintelligence.com and also powered by IBM, and he was an early graduate. So a big hand clap for Kevin. From TRI, we've got Gabriel Galioff. And for Gabriel, he is also on our tech committee, which we're grateful for. He's been in commercial real estate for 4 years. He works in the San Francisco Bay Area. He focuses on investments and apartment properties. At times, he'll play in industrial. Favorite hobby, watching sports, golfing, but you know, he's a musician. He plays piano and the drums, taught himself how to play the drums. And his big accomplishment, he closed a 20-unit apartment complex where he did both sides of the deal. That's pretty good in San Francisco. Big hand clap for him. From the Stubblebine Company, we have Micah Stubblebine. He is also on our tech committee. He's been in commercial real estate for 23 years. He focuses on industrial, doing both landlord and tenant rep in both suburban Boston and southern New Hampshire. He also plays in a little bit of flex and R&D. He joined Stubblebine after graduating from Wheaton College, and he is now a principal, director, and vice president. His favorite hobby is basketball, and his big accomplishment is he's been a multiple Power Broker Awards winner, and he is halfway through raising 3 kids. Big hand clap for Michael. And of course, Commercial Properties Incorporated, you got myself, Phill Tomlinson, and I am the chair for the Technology Committee. By the way, if anyone else in the room would love to be a part of our Technology Committee, we're always looking for you guys to contribute all the cool things you guys are seeing in your firms. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk you guys through best practices. These are things we are currently using today that we're getting some traction on, that we're liking. We're going to walk you guys through some software, some tools, some apps, and some marketing. But before we go through those, there's a video I want to play for you. This is going to kind of give you some updated stats that is going on in the digital transformation right now. I like the picture of the dog with his selfie of himself. That was great. So we're going to move over now to our panelists. We're going to start with Gabriel. He is using some software called Disclosure.io. We have a video, but before we watch the video, just kind of walk us through a little bit of what this is.
So disclosures, the most similar way to explain it is similar to Dropbox. Normally, what I use it personally for my disclosures, it gives you a nice table content description of where different content is at. It also gives you like a nice photo of the property itself. It gives you can put the address on the actual property itself, kind of turn into a website. The best thing about disclosure itself, it actually tracks who opened the actual website itself. So you could get a first name, last name, and an email. So you can kind of help yourself build up your email marketing list with that as well too. So it kind of tracks the deal flow and who's actually looking at the actual deal itself.
And is this something you use by yourself, or does the whole firm use this?
I personally use it. I just learned about it maybe within the last month or two. So it's a pretty new product that I'm using myself. I actually found it from a residential agent that was using it on a property they're using. So I personally use it myself, but they have different formats. You can use it as a team or you can personally use it. They have a free account that you can just personally use, but it doesn't give you the access to who's clicking on the actual link itself. For that, you have to pay $39.99, and that's monthly payments, and you can turn it on and turn it off, but that will give you the access to the first and last name and the actual email of who's actually going into looking at each disclosure itself.
And how's the setup time?
The setup time is within 15 minutes. I set it up myself, give you information, and if you actually have a property and uploading the disclosures, it's just a drag and drop kind of play itself, and then you have to type in the address if you want to upload pictures, so it'll give you a nice kind of professional look to it.
Does it interact with social media?
It does interact with social media. You can easily send it out to Facebook. You can send it out to Twitter or any other type of social media sites you have. So it has a one-click button to be able to blast it out to all different ports. I have seen it done to like just a website, or you can add it to like a remarks section to the MLS, whatever you guys use for that, and LoopNet as well too.
That's great. So I was asking these guys what they like about this. These are 10 reasons that Gabriel likes this product. All right. I do know that Gabriel is on Twitter quite a bit because almost weekly. I'm like, hey, something else has come in. So great tool if you want to be able to access electronically who is looking at your stuff and then be able to use your social media to kind of capitalize on that and then also keep them as leads.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to know about it?
That's pretty much the main thing. If I don't know if you want to take some questions or if anybody.
Actually, yeah, we got questions and comments now. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Hey, Gabe, do you use it just for your listings that are for sale? Put disclosures in there and it tracks who's looking at them?
Yes, but I mean, you could, yes. Yes, just for your listings. I personally just do investment sales, so there's other ways you could use it. If anybody has any other type of disclosures or some kind of tracking, you could set it up that way as well too. So it's just kind of, it's similar to Dropbox, to where you could just put this link out. You can even put it on put in the actual email itself, and then they could be able to click it. If it's forwarded to another agent, they still have to sign in. But that's the paid feature. If you just have the free feature, you'll just be able to send the link, but you wouldn't be able to access the first and last name and the email of who's actually looking at the link.
Any other questions? Kurt?
So you have the confidentiality agreements in there, of course, people can access the whole file, or it's not that complete?
Yes, you could have the confidentiality agreement in there as well too.
Anyone else? Okay, we're going to move on. So Kevin is using software, and he is using G Suite for business. What is G Suite?
So I'll give a brief background. So
And move your microphone a little closer
I
to
talk
you.
pretty loud. Are you sure you want this close? So I am probably the youngest in our firm by, I think, 25 years. That being said, they're not old, they're experienced. That's what I keep telling them, and it's been paying off for me. So when I first got there, we have a printer in our mailroom, and it's a big fancy printer. And on the outside of our mailroom, there's this other looking thing, and it looks like a printer. And I'm like, God, this is really old printer. I'm like, what is this thing? And then it starts making noise, and a piece of paper comes out of it. And I'm like, what is this thing? And Jim Clements comes up to me and he goes, Kevin, that's a fax machine. I go, I've never used one of those before. So we had some updating to do at Weber Wood Mettinger. We were on our 50th year anniversary, so I figured why not do it in our 50th year anniversary and update some systems. And this is more of an operation standpoint as opposed to going out and selling. There are applications, but what G Suite is, it's just Google's platform. You guys are all probably familiar with Gmail and Google Docs and Google Drive. This is the business version of it. So we've really been able to utilize it on the road. From an investment sales standpoint, we can create massive data rooms, control access of who's accessing what. Some of the sponsors in the room might not like this aspect of the Gmail part where we can actually, the Gmail is smart enough to group social updates, so LinkedIn, Twitter, promotions, which come from sponsors and stuff, and then email blasts from other brokers. That stays out of your primary inbox, so you're not bogged down with stuff you necessarily don't want to see there all the time. So it makes things a lot more efficient. And there's a few other things that I'll get into, but I think there's a...
Yeah, we've got a video that walks you through, if you have a team or multiple people at your firm are using this at the same time, this is kind of how it can work.
Whoa. Next Friday's pitch. Or tomorrow. Need to go, brother.
Hey Google, join the meeting.
All right, so Kevin, how did you guys incorporate this?
So we used to, this is the first time we went to the cloud, quote unquote, the cloud. We used to have a big server on site and we didn't have any two-factor authentication or single sign-on or redundancy if the lights went out. So this gave us an opportunity to kind of upgrade to a cloud environment and create a single sign. It's just much easier. So when we go into QuickBooks, this links with QuickBooks. When we want to sign into Build Out, we can get into Build Out right when we sign into our computer. So we implemented this, like I said, maybe a year ago. And it took about, I don't know, 48 hours to transfer stuff from our old system into this system. I think we saved $3,000 or something a year. It's very scalable. As we add new brokers or brokers leave, it's $10 a month a person. So it gets us access to everything anybody needs. It's been a really, really good asset for us.
So for Jim and the rest of the gang over there, how long did it take for you guys to get used to using G Suite versus what you guys were using?
Not very long because I personally, because I'm a quote unquote millennial, someone was talking smack about millennials over here, so I use that lightly. But I use online browsers, so I'll use the Gmail browser or the Google Drive browser, but this syncs with like Microsoft Outlook. So for example, Jim Clements uses Microsoft Outlook and he knows he's using this, but it's on the Microsoft Outlook platform. So it's very seamless integration with our old systems and the back end just a little more advanced.
And two top benefits?
Say that again?
Two of your top benefits?
I would say the Google Drive is the biggest benefit. It's basically like a Dropbox where you can put all your files in. When we're doing deals and we have to put due diligence, create due diligence, data rooms, war rooms, whatever you want to call them, we can plug in all the information that we have. We can give our clients access to a unique folder where they can plug in all their information, and then we can then share that with prospective buyers and control access, control when the link expires, things of that nature. And there's analytics. If you know Google, there's analytics built all around these types of things. So we G Suite, there's an analytics piece in it that we incorporate in our website. So we know, what age person's on our website, where they're from, where they're accessing it from, what kind of computer they're accessing it from, what their background is, what business they're in.
And that's new, because you guys weren't doing analytics
No,
before.
we were not. No, we were not doing that at all. So that's been very helpful in the sense of.
Quick
who our
question,
audience
who
is.
here is using analytics right now with your tools for tracking the people coming in? So that's nice. Yeah, something unique and different. We'll have to hear next year kind of what the traction is on those analytics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, we're going to move on to questions. Drew.
So with the G Suite for Business, you get to make your domain name on your email?
Yes, so it's a great question. So our domain is www.realestate.com, and it's just backed by Google. So it's not, something at gmail.com. So we use our own domain name. It's hosted on Google, and they give us access. So when I go on the browser to log into Gmail, it looks like your normal personal Gmail accounts, but in the top left corner, instead of saying Gmail, it says it's our logo up there, Weberwood Medinger. So you can make it your own. It's basically white labeled. And all the services are like that. The Drive service, the G Suite service, the data room, everything like that.
Any other questions?
Easy way to replace Microsoft Exchange, Active Directory, and all their affiliated costs.
Is it easy to replace them? Is that the question?
I'm saying it is easy.
Yeah, it is. It's Google has, when you sign up for this, Google has its own migration tool that you just go in there and it walks you step by step. You just plug things in that you need to plug in or give it access to things that you need to give it access to. I think we had Microsoft 365, I believe, and we just logged in through the Google migration tool with our 365 credentials, and Google just pulled everything from there. And like I said, it took 48 hours, I think. And it's very scalable. We can scale down and up as we need. And it's $10. I think it actually just went up to $12 a month.
Okay.
First time in 10 years.
Christy?
This is a question from our live stream. Wow. Why did G Suite over Outlook?
Why did we pick it over Outlook? So that's a great question. In our experience, in my experience, and Blair Wood and Jim helped me a lot with this, Google seems to kind of be the dominant internet player. Whenever you go to buy tickets for a concert or you go to log on to Build Out or QuickBooks, it always gives you the option to put your email and password in. But then there's that thing at the bottom that says sign in with Gmail or sign in with Facebook. It just became really easy for us in the real estate space because a lot of the tools, other apps we were using in the real estate space synced really well with Google. And it was just a no-brainer for us to use Google over Outlook. And it was just, Google was easier. I mean, it's that simple. Google was easier for us to use, to figure out, to implement, and to, continue to kind of grow with it.
Great. Scott?
So you had a one-site server.
Yes.
Prior to that, you see the issues with just downloading documents on a daily basis. How's that do with the speed of your internet?
Sure.
Have any latency issues or anything on that?
No latency. It's actually, it's 1,000 times faster doing it through Google. I mean, we don't have a server on site anymore. There's no hardware anymore. Everything's in the cloud. And it's significantly faster, significantly easier to access through an iPad, through a smartphone, through a Mac, through a Windows computer. And the question about the Microsoft or Outlook over Gmail, that was another thing. We have some users that use Macs. Google, for some reason, was easier for us to use on our Macs than Microsoft was. But no latency issues at all. It's actually much faster. And we've actually taken it a step further. About 6 months ago, we put Google Wi-Fi in our office too. I don't know if that has anything to do with Google products working with Google products, but the Wi-Fi has been much better than our current Wi-Fi. So
That's good. Craig?
I thought he was headed to that question. How does this integrate, maybe other people know this, how does this integrate with Microsoft Word or Excel and the interchangeability of the documents, knowing,
sure.
from my perspective, most people are still on Word and Excel and they want it in that format. Do you still have Word and Excel, or do you use Google Docs, you can save it in the XLS format, or
Sure.
does that work?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I'm sorry if I misunderstood your question earlier. So Google has Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Keynote or something, which is their version of Microsoft Office. You can always use Google in the Drive in the cloud. You can work on documents together. But to your point, everyone's using Excel and Microsoft and PowerPoint. So Google is very easily syncs with that. So if I'm working on a PowerPoint for a client, I can go ahead and throw that in the Google Drive and it'll save up there in the Google Drive. I can open it in the Google Drive as a PowerPoint. I can download it as a PowerPoint. If you make a document in the Drive, whether it's a Google Sheets, which is technically an Excel document, you can then save it as an Excel document or download it as an Excel document. So it's very seamless going back and forth. And that was one of the questions that Jim had early on to make sure, hey, we don't want to go to something where we can't use what everyone else is using. But it holds a bunch of different types of document files that it saves. And it's unlimited storage. So we pay $10 a month. It's unlimited storage. So we use drones a lot. We take drone videos of different properties. We can seamlessly put those drone videos up in our cloud, and it's unlimited storage. We can put thousands of videos up there if we want. We're going to take some of Phil's videos that he's making and throw them up there, I think. Too.
Exactly. One more question. Brian?
Kevin, are you telling me that Jim Clements can turn this on?
Yeah, true. Jim, if you're listening, I said true.
Follow-up question, is he wearing a white button?
No, Jim is actually.
I'm sorry, that was before.
Hey, Kevin, repeat the question real quick, because we're doing this live stream, and so we are having some people on live stream who can't hear our questions.
Okay.
So we'll repeat the question back. Although that was more of a comment back
Yes,
there,
that was a comment. We'll leave it at that.
He was making fun of Jim. So,
But that to really quick to bounce off that, we have people in our office who are very experienced real estate professionals, and we have younger people like myself. And this tool has worked for everybody. It's been seamless. It's easy to use, and I highly encourage learning more about it if it's something you're interested in.
great. Also, this entire presentation, including all of the videos, we will have live on the extranet this week. So you can go back and really walk through this entire thing again if you'd like for your firms, okay? All right, we're gonna move on. So we've got, now we're gonna go into some apps. And the My First Am app is an app that I currently have on my phone, but it's also an app that Gabriel has on his phone. How are you using this?
So My First Am app is pretty much like an app that you'll use for title report. So say if you're out on the field looking at a building or a property and you want to quickly look at the square footage, or say you're in doing investments and you want to see when the last time it sold, how much it was sold, you could just open the app and be able to see all the whole title report just on your phone. So if you're not at the office or you don't want to email a secretary to send you the title report quickly before you go into the meeting, you could just simply open the app and get the full title report, tax map and everything on your phone, right on your iPhone or Android devices.
I'm going to play a video that kind of walks you through some of the benefits of the app. I'm not going to watch the entire video. You guys can go back on your own and see the whole thing. But this will give you kind of a good idea of what to expect.
Welcome to My First Am, your single destination for comprehensive property data, order information, documents, and helpful resources, either at your desk or on the go. My First Am makes it easy to get the property information you need by combining the familiarity and convenience of Google Maps with our powerful and robust property database. Simply enter any address, intersection, city, county, zip, or browse the Google map. Then choose from an array of property reports, including property profiles and comparable sales, all at your fingertips. Go full screen, switch to Google Maps Street View, or turn on parcel overlays to clearly identify boundaries and display owner, APN, lot size, and street number directly on the map. Ready to start farming? Click the green farming button to instantly use the map to locate properties based on ownership or property traits, such as commercial land use, last sale date, and more. Once the map border turns green, simply search, click on parcels, or use the pencil tool to draw your search areas directly on the map and add properties to your farm list. For details on specific property, click the APN in the list. Customize your list using filters and then export your farm to a report or create mailing labels to help grow your business.
That's pretty robust for a title app. However, so what's the catch? Can we all use this?
Yeah, so everyone can use it. It is free, and I forgot to say before, there is a lot of different apps, a lot of different title companies. I find that my first American app is probably the most user-friendly and the easiest one to kind of maneuver around and things like that.
Do they have to have a relationship with?
No, you don't have to have a relationship. You could just simply go on the website, sign in, make a username and password, and then you'll just go on your phone, download the app, and then make a username, sign in with the username and password, and then start going around from there.
Okay, I guess that hasn't been our experience in San Antonio. It seems like if you don't do some business with First American, they cut you off.
Well, should I repeat the question?
For a while.
Yeah, repeat the
So the question was, in San Antonio, they haven't had success with the First American app. I did have a rep come to my office and showed me about the app. From my knowledge, I didn't pay any money. I didn't do a deal at the time with her. I don't know if she was trying to get my business to do deals with her, but I still haven't done a deal with her either. So from my knowledge, it's no fee or no relationship building, things like that, from my knowledge.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, we're gonna move on. Walk you guys through some marketing. So we're gonna go through some video examples. Stubblebine has a great video they've done recently. We'll do a quick walkthrough of this, or watch the video and then kind of talk us through it. Okay, so Micah, what'd you guys do?
Yeah, so full disclosure, this was actually one of our first videos. The company that does all of our drone videos came to us and said, hey, we're up there anyway. Do you want us to take some videos and we can show you a demo of what we can do? So this was the first video. It was actually for a listing that we didn't have yet. So we brought it in as part of our listing presentation, and the guys were like blown away. I know it's a pretty simple video, but it was a huge reaction. Apparently they hadn't seen other videos like this from other firms who were interviewing. So we were hired, and they, noted that as one reason that they hired us.
How long have you guys been using Bird's Eye View?
We've been using them for probably about five years. So in the future, that video will be somewhere between like $300 and $500. Some of the benefits that we see are, at least in Boston, other brokers are not really doing videos. So it's still a way to stand out in terms of marketing. I think it's also good for larger properties like this building, where you're probably not going to make it around the whole building on a property tour. And then finally, I think it's helpful even just to like preview showings or qualify showings. We've all had examples where someone comes out to the building and, the first 30 seconds, they're like, the loading situation doesn't work. I wish I knew that. So it's a way to qualify showings too.
So other than getting the listing or using these videos for listings, how do you guys incorporate this into your marketing?
Well, we'd like to have a link on CoStar where you can see it on CoStar as well.
That's good. Do you guys push this anywhere else online?
Not yet.
Not yet?
It's on our website. But there'll be a link when we send out, we use Constant Contact. When we send out our e-blast, there'll be a link to view the video.
Okay. Any questions out here? Kristen?
The question I have is, once we get the video, how do you distribute it?
Mhm.
Who is your audience, and are you tracking results?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are good questions. Tracking, we're not there yet. We know anecdotally that our clients love it. How it's being received in the marketplace, we don't really have a way of tracking it yet. We view it, like I think Phil was saying this morning, is it's one of a whole suite of different market activities that you're going to do, and there's not any one thing that's going to, win the listing or find that tenant. It's just one of a handful of things that you're doing for properties.
Any other questions?
So if I can add, I think, I don't think this is just for Ohio, but I think it's an FAA regulation. But if you have a personal drone, you're allowed to fly that anywhere you want. But if you're doing it for commercial purposes or charging for it, you technically have to have, I found this out, but you technically have to have a license, unmanned aerial vehicle license or something like that. So that's just something to keep in mind if there's firms in CORFAC that are interested in using their personal drones and maybe charging it back to the firm or something. You're technically supposed to have a license for that, I believe. So just a tidbit there.
Well, it's funny because I actually have a drone, which I use for fun. I've never used it for commercial real estate just because it's so inexpensive to have these guys go out and do it that it's almost, even if you know how to do it, it makes sense to pay somebody nominal fee to do it.
The nice part too, you noticed in the video that they had all these diagrams and numbers appearing on the screen at real time showing you how big the property was. So you get some nice features when you start actually purchasing it from a professional company who does this all day long.
I just add a couple things. As I'm watching the video, I'm thinking of things I would change. I think having it a little bit shorter, actually, especially if you don't have a lot of content, which we didn't. Shorter is better, I think. I think people are only going to watch for 30 seconds if you're lucky.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to another example. This right here is a video that we did. We ended up hiring our own video guy at Commercial Properties, and we had them go out to our site and do a quick marketing piece for one of our newer listings that we had trying to sell a resort. Nothing really fancy, but it kind of gives you a really quick view overall. Got our logo and some different things about what you're looking at. We also did the same thing using like Google Maps and created a marketing video. So now we're kind of zooming into some land that we got a listing for. And this was all done by our in-house marketing department. We get to outline what's available, what kind of use it has. We've also moved on and did a commercial for Channel 15.
I'm Leroy Brian Holt of Commercial Properties Incorporated, Arizona's largest locally owned full-service commercial real estate brokerage firm. We handle sales, leasing, property management, corporate services, and more for over 37 years. CPI does it all, and we'll do it for you.
15-second spot. So there is an app that I'm currently using for my iPhone, and it's called the Video Teleprompter 3 app. And there's a reason why I got this app is because I'm wanting to do more videos myself. But if you've ever tried to do a video and you're on take 37, 38, 39. So I had a buddy of mine who encouraged me to get this app so that I could actually read what it was that was on my screen. Here's a video that shows you kind of what it does.
This is Video Teleprompter. Make more professional and engaging videos by reading your script as you record. Your script appears on the screen over the camera while you record video at the same time. Whichever way you position your device, your script will automatically scroll closely to the camera, so it always looks like you're looking directly at the lens. You'll look more confident and natural in seconds. Whether you're marketing your business or just communicating with others, Video Teleprompter helps you do it better.
So here's a couple of slides. What I like about this is whether I'm having it vertical or horizontal, the words move. I can also focus on what I want it to focus on. So if it's out of focus, I can click on my face, focuses right in. Also, I can use my PDF, my Word documents, anything I need, and upload it right into my phone. So then all my scripts are right there inside of my phone. And it even has a timer countdown if you'd like it. So here's some raw footage of me recording one of my videos, and I'm reading the entire thing.
Hi, my name's Phill Tomlinson with Commercial Properties Incorporated. I'm a real estate broker. I specialize in retail and office investments. I'm based out of the state of Arizona.
So it gives you an idea. It's a nice tool that, at least for me, it allows me to have less takes. I spend less time, and it kind of helps me be focused. I say less. So it's a great tool. Any questions for the last few videos we just saw? Cole. So the question is, am I looking at my phone? Yes. So I am using the front camera on the front of the phone, and as I'm holding it, or I got it, I have a little Gorilla Pod. I just set it down, put it in there, press the start button, and the text starts scrolling. And I can say how fast I want that text to scroll. So if I do a take and it's way too fast, I'll slow it down. I can make the font bigger, which is great. And or I can use my glasses and make it smaller. But any other questions? Okay, great tool. We're going to move forward. Got a lot to cover here. Yeah. It's on Android, and it's also on, I think it's about $18. So there is a one-time price you have to pay for it. But for me, it was worth it. Okay, so marketing. We have Facebook ads. Who here is currently using Facebook ads for their commercial real estate? Show of hands. Okay, for our live stream, nobody has raised their hands. However, we do have a broker in the room that is using Facebook ads, and that's Gabriel. What are you doing, and how does this work?
So I buy different type of Facebook ads. If I have a listing, I will push it towards a certain area or a certain keyword. I would buy ads to have someone come to my business Facebook business page. There's a lot of different things that you could do with Facebook business pages and Facebook ads. You could fine tune to a certain address. You could fine tune to a certain city. Do it within a 1 mile of. I'm from San Francisco, so I do it within San Francisco. I will put investments or apartments or office. You could fine tune it to keyword and things like that to where your Facebook ad will pop up if anybody is typing or posting about whatever your keywords in that certain city or not.
So there are large companies that are using Facebook ads. I'm going to show you a video by Gary Vee. And in this video, he's going to be asking some questions. What I'd like you guys to do is participate. As he asks these questions, I'd like you to participate. Raise your hand as you move along. And by the way, in Facebook, did you guys know that 1 of 7 minutes online is now spent on Facebook? It's getting up there. Here we go.
How many people here have bought something on Wish, the shopping app? Raise your hands. Raise it high. Own it. Don't be scared. Cool. How many people here have never heard? It's cool. I need the honesty here, and everyone's very fucking like this. How many people here have never heard of Wish, the shopping app? Raise your hands. This is the best moment of my life. One more time.
Majority of the room. Okay.
You have not heard of Wish, the shopping app? Raise your hands. High. Okay, this is the best. Thank you very much. Wish, depending on who you listen to, because it's a private kind of thing, company, is doing anywhere between $3 to $6 billion in revenue. Wish is probably the closest thing to any kind of conceivable threat to Amazon in the world. Wish is doing $3 to $6 billion in sales. They're spending 98% of their money outside of a Los Angeles Lakers patch on the jersey and the McGregor-Mayweather fight. They bought the corner. Outside of those 2 activations, they were spending 98% of their money on Facebook ads.
98% of their money is being spent on Facebook ads. And the guys who actually are doing the marketing for Wish have background in Google ads. So it's kind of funny. So on Facebook ads, you're using this for listings, using this for get tenants? How are you using Facebook ads?
So I'm using it to get listings. I'm using it to push out my personal listings. I'm using it to just get anyone interested in maybe getting a valuation on their investment properties. Like I said, I do multifamily. And like the slide that Phil showed earlier, 1 minute out of 7 minutes, everybody's on Facebook. That's the kind of where everybody's kind of at. And even before he's posted that, I'm one of those people that get my news off of social media. So I don't watch the news in the morning. I check Twitter and I check Facebook and things like that. So just everybody's kind of on there, and it's not expensive to get a Facebook ad. The cheapest ad you could get is $5. So you could go up to as much as you want. You could get a $5 ad. You could probably reach about maybe 100 people, but the more you spend, the wider you get, the more people you could be able to reach out on Facebook ads.
Yeah, even a large company like Wendy's, they decided to use Facebook ads because they wanted to reach a younger audience, and they had 85 million unique people. We're not going to watch the whole video, but I just want to walk you through a couple seconds here of why they chose to use Facebook ads.
We have an established brand with baby boomers. They grew up with Dave Thomas on television. What we don't have is an established presence of those really under the age of about 35. We needed to find a way to connect with that younger audience.
The pretzel bacon cheeseburger launch was critical for us because it signals to the consumer that this is a different Wendy's brand.
We had a guy post a picture of a pretzel bacon cheeseburger and say, "I want to marry this." The kind of quotes that are completely outlandish led us to develop a program to tap into that passion.
So they had a guy play a piano and all the little things coming in, they made a song out of it, but 85 unique visitors. So what's really great about tech panels like this and coming to CORFAC is I'm sitting here thinking, I never thought about Facebook ads. Seriously, I'm like, I never even thought about that. And I'm excited to go back and say, hey, I wonder if there's some traction that I can get using Facebook ads. So we're kind of curious, what kind of results are you getting and how much are you spending for this?
It depends on what I'm trying to push. I've had, like I said, I had Facebook ads for listing. I had Facebook ads just to get more likes on my page so I can have a bigger audience. I have had a couple, every time I post something, I do get likes from it. I do get comments. I want more information. Send me the flyer. I haven't had an actual buyer that completed a transaction from a Facebook ad, but it's just another avenue to be able to market different products that I have or different listing that I have and get my name out there more, especially being a younger broker in San Francisco where it's very competitive. It's just a different way to reach out to different people to be in the commercial real estate field.
What's the cost roughly?
Like I said, it could different. Whatever price you want to spend, you could do a $5 ad. So the difference in prices is how many people you're going to reach. So there's ways you can fine tune Facebook ads to gender. You could fine tune it by age. You could do keywords, like if you want to do office leasing, office space, or if you want to do apartment building, investments, or you could just sit there and say commercial real estate, males, 50 and older. And so that would fine tune to everyone that is 50 and over that's in the, wherever you're at. So San Francisco, I'll put San Francisco, and then it'll reach maybe 800 people. And then maybe those 800 people will give you about 10 or 15 likes. So you could do a $5 ad. You could do as much as $50 ads. You could do as much as $500 ads. I've done different valuation depending on what I'm trying to push out and market on Facebook.
How about the setup? How hard is it and how long does it take?
What it is just a post. So you just sit there and go on Facebook and say, I have this 10-unit building in downtown San Francisco. It costs $3 million, and that's your post. Just on regular going on Facebook. I don't know if anybody ever marketed on Facebook. It would be a regular post. But then they'll say, do you want to boost this page? So then you press boost. Then you'll say, I want it to go from Friday to Sunday, because most people are normally on Facebook during the weekend time. So that's kind of how I fine tune it. So you can kind of difference whatever you want to fine tune and where you want to go. So I would say Friday to Saturday, because that's when most people go on. And then say I want to do male and females 40 and up. I might spend $50 on the ad. And then at the end of the ad as well, it will show you how many people it reached, how many people actually clicked on it, and how many likes you get from it.
So all of us up here, by the way, after CORFAC is over, we are all welcome to still take questions on this kind of stuff over the next few months. As you guys start saying, hey, maybe we want to implement some sort of a Facebook ad and you're kind of curious, I would tweet Gabriel
Yeah.
and ask him some of those questions.
Yeah. And also one thing I forgot to leave out, it doesn't have to be an actual listing. It could just be any type of marketing information that you want to go out. Sometimes in San Francisco, we have the San Francisco Business Time. Say there's an article about a new buyer that just are building next to the Salesforce Tower, and you just want to share it out to your market, and you can just press a simple click at the top of the article. I don't know if you've ever seen those articles. It will have a Facebook tag, it will have a Twitter tag, it will have a LinkedIn tag. You just have to press that button, and it automatically goes out to your Facebook page. And then you go from Facebook there, and then you can simply boost the post to market to whatever fine-tuned area you want to market to as well too.
So some questions. Jason?
Me
Repeat the
personally.
question real quick.
So he asked, do I separate my personal Facebook to my public Facebook or business Facebook? I personally do, but I find that I get better reaction when I'm give a little bit more personal stuff in there. I don't want to just only send out real estate stuff. So I send out real estate stuff, but I put myself that I'm at CORFAC this weekend, or I put out real estate stuff that I say I'm golfing on a Tuesday. So you kind of want to give it a little bit of both so it can show like you're an actual person instead of just a robot only sending out this building for lease or this building for sale and things like that.
Any other questions? Christy?
Have you ever advertised on Craigslist?
The question was, have I ever advertised on Craigslist? I have advertised on Craigslist. That is one of the best advertisements for multifamily for myself. I have searched Craigslist personally and found owners trying to list their apartment buildings themselves for sale by owner situation. And I have contact clients from Craigslist that are looking or even trying to sell. And I have got listing pitch from Craigslist because just owners trying to sell themselves, or maybe it's a residential owner trying to sell a commercial property. So I have personally advertised on Craigslist, and Craigslist is free to advertise on that. So every marketing person in here, or marketing rep for their company, should know that they should be marketing on Craigslist as well too.
Okay, one more question. Anyone else? Christy?
Gabriel, are you advertising on any other platforms, or were you all in on Facebook?
The question was, have I ever advertised on any other platform? I personally like Facebook the most because, like the slide said earlier, most people are on Facebook. I have advertised on LinkedIn as well, but with LinkedIn, it's more of agents on there. It's not too many buyers on there for my area and field. So it's kind of like your competition is going to be on LinkedIn. So I do post on LinkedIn more like already listed properties, but I wouldn't put like off-market properties and things like that on LinkedIn. I do post on Twitter as well and advertise on Twitter as well, kind of the same thing. And I have the same setup pricing as well on Twitter. But I just think Facebook, since most people are on Facebook, most people are kids on Facebook. So you might not get the owner on Facebook, but you might have the secretary on Facebook that might be, they know that you guys are looking for space. You might have a son of an owner who their dad are in the late 80s and they know the kids are next in line to take it on, but they're, don't want anything to do with the property. So the son might, see the Facebook and go from there as well too. So I do market on different websites as well.
That's great. So moving on with marketing, we've also got affinity marketing using both LinkedIn and Google Ads. And Micah has had some experience with affinity marketing. What is affinity marketing?
So affinity marketing is basically just tailoring your market to a target audience who you have some kind of shared experience or background with. So at our firm, we're sort of a perfect candidate for it because the three principals all went to a school in the Midwest, same school. And so a business consultant asked us the question, what are we doing to leverage, those connections with our alma mater? And we go to a reunion once every 10 years. We didn't really have a good answer. So he put together a affinity marketing campaign for us that basically had three components. The first one was, and this is old school, not really technology related, but he reached out to our alumni office and told them who we were, what we're trying to accomplish. For us, it was we wanted to get a hold of alumni who had some kind of real estate background or sales background for the purposes of A, finding new prospective brokers, and B, getting connected with business owners in the New England area or beyond who went to our school. So contacted the alumni office, used LinkedIn basically to reach out to these different individuals using the search criteria of, our alma mater, obviously, and then like a graduation date range. So, 25 to 40 was for the prospective candidates for brokers. And then there's a category for areas of interest. So either real estate or sales background. So that's how we got a hold of a lot of these people. And then he also used something called relationship science, which is a more sophisticated software tool. It's expensive. It's not something we would run out and get, but a business consultant usually will have access to this. And it's like LinkedIn on steroids, where it basically maps out all of your LinkedIn contacts and then finds, common contacts or contacts that you have in common, and makes connections that way based on mapping out your contacts. So that's what we did with that.
So LinkedIn has a fantastic search tool. If you've never jumped into LinkedIn, went to the search tool and played, I would suggest all of you go in there and play, because you can really dial it in and find people in your area that you have a lot in common with. So what kind of results did you guys have after doing this affinity marketing through LinkedIn?
Yeah, sure. So we've had 2 interviews with alumni to work at our company who we're strongly considering. And we're in the process of this was something that he completed just about 2 weeks ago. So we have a list of alumni that we're in the process of reaching out to who are business owners in New England who we hope to generate business with.
That's great. So I have the Google Ads up here as well, because Google Ads also has an affinity campaign. So exactly what Mike is talking about, they already have something like that built into Google Ads that you can actually jump in and start playing with and use. So it's pretty nice. Any questions for Micah on this piece? Okay, we're going to watch a few seconds of a video where there is a Robinson Brewing Company overseas who actually got some traction doing affinity marketing through Google Ads.
Robinson's Brewery started in 1838. Fast forward 180 years, 6 generations. We still have 11 family directors. Whilst we've got a very loyal fan base, Old Tom was in double-digit decline for the 2nd year running. When I first tried to get the family on board with digital, they said, "Danny, why do we need it? We've been going for 175 years. And I said, well, if you want to be here for another 175, you need to embrace change. So our brief to return was that we needed help to increase supermarket sales of Old Tom.
My name's Guy Levine, the founder of Return. Digital is a fantastic medium when you understand who your actual customer is. Day to day, we use the Google Ads platform. We were able to learn the demographics of the audience, also their affinities. So what we did was create a 30-second YouTube ad which was relevant to this audience.
And what was really great for us was to see the direct correlation that the digital campaign was having on sales.
The campaign actually delivered an 81% increase in year-on-year sales, which equated to about 25,000 extra bottles sold, which was absolutely phenomenal.
We are very, very proud of our past, but we embrace the future. Google Ads are helping us deliver a great message to our customers.
81% increase. I was really impressed with that. And I'm thinking, I'm not using Google Ads at all. I'm not using any kind of affinity marketing. I'm not using Facebook ads. It just opened up another possibility for my marketing that I might be able to open up to start reaching out to a demographic of investors that I want to be in front of.
Phil, really quick, I think Gabriel would agree. For those that think that this is really hard to do on a Google and Facebook platform, it's almost a joke how easy it is to actually advertise on Google or Facebook.
And here's what's best. If you go to YouTube and type in how to do a Facebook ad or Google ad, there are so many videos where for free, they'll train and teach you exactly what to do depending on what you're looking for. So we're going to keep moving on because we're running out of time. But this is a tool that I am personally using, and it's called Rocketbook, and it's Everlast. It's got my notes on it here. And it's quite unique, and I'm going to show you guys why I'm using it, why I love it. Here's a quick video. It's a little corny, but I think you'll like it.
For thousands of years, humans have been filling their notebooks and then just buying more.
It's like the notebook industry has given up on innovation.
Hey, what's this? The notebook Hemingway wrote on? That's cool, I guess.
We're from Rocketbook, and we make notebooks from the future.
At Rocketbook, we are already famous for inventing the Wave Notebook, the smart notebook that can be erased in the microwave. We've shipped 100,000 waves to satisfied customers around the world. Others may stop there, but we are maniacs obsessed with blending old-fashioned notebooks with future and awesome. So we've spent a year in the Rocket Lab designing a new notebook that feels like pen and paper, but is endlessly reusable and completely integrated with your digital lifestyle. Introducing the Everlast Notebook from Rocketbook. The Everlast brings cloud scalability to pen and paper. Simply write, scan, and erase. Imagine 1,000 of your favorite notebooks in one sleek design that fits in your backpack. Here's how it works. Everlast pages look and feel like paper, but they're actually constructed from a polyester composite rather than wood. You write on the Everlast using any pen from the Pilot Friction line, which are available in store and online. Writing on the Everlast feels perfectly natural and smooth, and as the ink dries, it forms a complete bond to the polyester page, so it won't rub off. But what makes this formulation so unique is that each page can be wiped completely clean with a moist towel, so it can be used over and over and over again. The Everlast Notebook is also compatible with the Rocketbook app. So before you wipe your notes off the page, you can blast them online to your favorite cloud services. In a fraction of a second, Rocketbook Machine Vision scans, enhances, and sends each page to the specific destination they belong on the cloud services you already use. Each Everlast Notebook page has 7 symbols. Set up the Rocketbook app to assign each symbol to a location within Dropbox, Google Docs, Evernote, or many other services. You could configure your diamond to send meeting notes directly to your shared team folder in Dropbox. Or students could configure their star symbol to send notes right to a math folder in Google Drive. So you can make your list, break out that diagram, or color in that drawing. Then tomorrow, start your day with a brand new notebook. With the Everlast, one notebook becomes 1,000 notebooks. The utility of the cloud and the joy of pen and paper. That's Rocketbook.
So I got this Rocketbook about 6 weeks ago. I took a picture. I was putting my notes on everything. Sticky notes, the back of my mail, my yellow pad. And I have yellow pads flipped over, flipped over, flipped over. I have to say, I absolutely love this thing. It comes in a couple of different sizes. Really small. I've got the medium, and then you got the 8.5 by 11. And right now, when I'm taking notes for my my voicemails coming in, as soon as I take all my notes, I just scan it. It goes right to my Dropbox into a Rocketbook folder I created. And then when I have leads that are coming in, I write it down, I scan it, and it texts it over to a couple of the brokers I work with in the firm. So within a couple of seconds, they already have the text of the leads that are coming in. I also have another one where I send it over to my Dropbox, my OneNote, and then I have 2 of them set up for my email. So I can email myself or I can email a couple of other brokers in the firm. It's fantastic. And then when I'm done, just wipe everything off and I start all over again. It's pretty fun. It's pretty nice. It writes fantastic. If you guys want to see it, you can write on it. I brought my pen and my notebook. The price, $30. Doesn't matter what size. The little small one, they're including in like a combo, but $30 for this size or for the bigger size, and something to consider. Might save you some time and keep yourself more organized. So that's Rocketbook.
scan it, is that phone number, you text it, does that show up, or we gotta do, is that number in the phone call?
So last week, they had an update to their app on the phone, and they said they've now created a transcribe. So everything you wrote is transcribing and typing it out for you. Then also, they have it where if you put 2 hashtags at the very top, whatever you put in the middle becomes the name of the file. So I was doing my notes for CORFAC, and so it's hashtag CORFAC tech panel. And then I put a date on there, and when I went ahead and I scanned it, on the name was the CORFAC, tech panel. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Very neat. So any other questions on that? We're gonna keep moving. All right, here we go. So let's do some training. We got mobile learning, Grant Cardone Sales University. Micah, what are you guys doing and what is this?
Yeah, so we have I don't know if people have heard of Grant Cardone. He's a pretty well-recognized sales training coach. And so we have an annual membership that we pay for all 9 brokers in our office to be able to access these training videos. They're in 4 categories. They're management training, sales training, customer care, and new hire training. So it's not specifically commercial real estate related. It's sales related, but it's all very applicable. They're all like 5 to 7 minute videos of a whole variety of different topics. You can listen to it in your car. It's great. It doesn't have an app right now, but it has a very mobile friendly website, so you can listen to it in your car or whatever.
By a show of hands, who here has heard of Grant Cardone? It's impressive. He's got some good stuff. We're going to watch just his intro video.
If you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, or salesperson and are looking for ways to increase your revenue, you need skills, tools, and training. Grant Cardone, New York Times best-selling author and international sales and business expert, has created Cardone University, an online digital platform accessible 24/7 on demand from any phone, tablet, or computer. With Grant Cardone as your personal sales coach and mentor, you will find solutions for every sales opportunity and every sales challenge. Learn everything you need to know about the selling basics, understanding the buyer, the entire sales process, the theory of closing, up-to-date closing strategies, how to handle incoming calls, how to get an edge on internet lead response, effective prospecting strategies with access to an interactive 365-day follow-up tool that shows you the specifics on how to close the deal, the 100 Ways to Stay Motivated training program, and the top traits of great salespeople.
Also, he has he's a big believer of giving for free up front. So if you go to YouTube and you type in his name, you'll probably have 4 or 5 days of videos you can watch for free before you decided to actually purchase anything he has. But it's a great resource. Any questions on Grant Cardone? Okay. So at this point, we're going to say thank you to our panelists. They did a fantastic job. We're going to quickly move into now the technology trends. Now this is where I have some reading I'm going to have to do because I've got a lot of data here. We did start about 15 minutes late, so when we get to that mark, if you want me to stop, we'll stop. If you'd like me to keep going a little bit, we can keep going. So let's get started. Tech trends. So the world is changing fast, and what I'm going to do is kind of step back and give you guys a bigger picture of what's going on. I'm not going to go into any real details on a lot of this stuff, but it is very interesting and how it's kind of affecting commercial real estate. So to kind of walk you guys through how it's so easy to miss some of these changes that's going on, I'm going to play a video, and I know that probably some of you have already seen this video, but I'm going to show it to you anyways. What I'd like you to do is I would like you to count how many times the people in white t-shirts are passing the ball. So how many times are the people in the white t-shirts passing the ball? Also, for whoever gets this correct, I'm going to go ahead and give you a $30 Amazon gift card so you can buy a Rocketbook if you like. All right? So are you guys ready? You sure? Okay. And hold on. I hit the back button. I know. All right, here we go. Okay, so how many people here counted 15 by show of hands? Okay, great. How many people here counted 16? Let me see your hands. Good. How many people counted 17? All right. The correct answer was 16. So for those who did 16, please stand. Okay. So there were 3 subtle changes that happened. Did anybody in the room catch all 3? Okay. Did anyone here catch 2? All right. The first one to catch the first one. Kurt. The gorilla. Yeah. The gorilla's walking through. So thank you. Congratulations. You won the Amazon gift card. I'll give it to you afterwards. All right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to see the exact same video and watch you guys through how subtly 3 of these things were going on, although the gorilla was a bit more noticeable. Here we go.
Let's rewind and watch it again. Here comes the gorilla, and there goes a player, and the curtain is changing from red to gold.
So just like our jobs, I went ahead and I incentivized you guys. Hold on. I'm clicking the wrong buttons. All right. Perfect. Okay. So in commercial real estate, in our jobs, we have a very specific task that we have to do. We all have personal responsibilities. There is, in fact, a 500-pound gorilla that's coming front and center. It's beating its chest, and it's in the form of new emerging technologies. And because of these emerging technologies, we know that certain jobs, certain industries are going to disappear, just like that one person in the black shirt just kind of walked off. Also, because of these emerging technologies, we know that business models and even customer behaviors are going to start changing, and they're going to change in a very subtle way, just like the backdrop was changing from red to gold. It's difficult to see some of these transformations, but the first thing that we need to do as our industry in commercial real estate is just become aware of just how fast the world is changing. So what I'm going to do is quickly just walk you through the last few weeks and months of some of these changes that maybe you guys are already aware of, but you didn't think it would have an impact on commercial real estate. So CRE Tech. Michael Beckerman, who's the founder and CEO of CRE Tech, these are his numbers here. He said that back in 2011, we had 12 startups with 30 million invested. As of December of 2018, 3,000 startups with 12.5 billion invested worldwide. And this is permeating all aspects of commercial industry. Our office, retail, we got hospitality, industrial, it's affecting brokers, developers, appraisers, property managers. So University of Arizona, they are now 3D printing bone scaffolds. This is for implants for military veterans. And they are able to embed sensors within the 3D printed bone so that they can now monitor activity levels. Here's Katera. Katera actually just received $900 million in venture capital funding. They're a building industry. And I want to show you just a real quick clip of a video here. I thought it was interesting. So 17 days, what used to take 6 to 8 months, they're doing in 17 days, but that's because they're using artificial intelligence, some robotics. They're also doing stuff like big data. They're also using new materials. I'm going to keep playing this for a second. We heard Greg talk about this earlier.
To these advanced wood buildings and delivering better quality buildings, buildings that are more sensitive to the environment and produce more affordable and also just a better quality of life for people. When we got to know Katera, we realized they were going to change everything with this new model.
So CLT is cross-laminated timber, and it is a composite building material made up of alternating layers of sawn lumber. So they can be different species of wood that we source locally and are able to put into large format panels. And it fundamentally changes the way we design buildings.
So in Las Vegas, just a few weeks ago,
It allows us to...
they had the Consumer Electronic show. Did anybody attend that here? So they have what's called the wall. I'm going to play a quick video so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This is from Samsung.
This is a 219-inch micro LED TV, and I think this technology could be the future of TVs. Samsung first showed off micro LED and the wall at last year's CES, but this year their mammoth modular TV is over twice the size, 219 inches to be exact. As the name suggests, micro LED uses millions of tiny individual LEDs to create an image. But I think just as exciting as the underlying technology of micro LED is the fact that these next-gen TVs will be modular. Modular panels, each offering a minimum 4K resolution, can be linked up to create different sizes, shapes, and aspect ratios. And the content can be customized to fit the screens you have. There's almost no visible bezel. The resolution can scale up to potentially, well, infinity, 4K, 6K, 8K, 10K, all while retaining the same pixel density.
So here's my point. The wall. What's that going to mean for commercial real estate? When I think of walls right now, this could change exactly how lobbies will be having. And just like any kind of technology, this is expensive right now, but it's probably going to get better. It's going to get faster. It'll get more affordable. So what is our expectations of walls moving forward in the future? I think that with architecture and design, we're going to start seeing this kind of technology start taking over some of our commercial space. Now we're going to move over to Amazon Go. They have 9 stores right now. They just celebrated their 1-year anniversary. They expect to have 3,000 stores by 2025. I think some of us have an idea. I wanted to give you a little bit more insight into what Amazon Go is.
Four years ago, we started to wonder, what would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go? What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store, so you never have to wait in line? No lines, no checkouts, no registers. Welcome to Amazon Go.
So this place is pretty incredible, and apparently it can save you a lot of time. We'll test that out though. All right, so what is Amazon Go? It's a cashierless grocery store, so no checkout, no lines, no real wait. So how does a cashierless store actually work? Amazon states on their website that it's using the same technology that we use in self-driving cars. So that means cameras, lots and lots of cameras. Essentially, cameras are tracking you as you come in the store, and they're tracking what you pick up and what you put down. It's a combination of trained software and sensors in the shelves that are constantly adding and subtracting items from your virtual cart.
So you can just walk in, get whatever you want, walk right out without even interacting with a clerk. So I believe this is going to transform the retail industry, especially it's going to transform the expectations from our clients and our customers. They start getting used to this kind of stuff. We're going to see them expecting this everywhere. Also, here's a fun fact. 5 years ago, Amazon received about 1,000 orders per day. Anyone want to guess how many it is today? 308 items per second. You know what that means? Things are moving fast, and we got to start thinking differently about our future. Ultimately, the goal is for us to feel confident that we can embrace this change. 8,000 days ago, we were using the 56K modem, and we've had a 1,400-fold increase as of today, and you guys are all using cell phones pretty well. And so these kind of big shifts, although it seems kind of crazy today, as it's happening, I believe all of us as professionals will be able to embrace it and help our clients to make good decisions on how they can incorporate some of this technology. So I'm gonna walk you through a few trends. I'll get through as many as I can as we have time, but we're gonna go through 5G. Right now, we're currently in 4G. You're thinking, big deal, 4G, 5G, it's not that big of a leap. It is that big of a leap. It's gonna change everything. And instead of me trying to really explain it to you, I'm going to show you a video that will give you, I'm not going to watch the whole video, but there's a piece here I want you guys to see.
Imagine playing a co-op shooter like Fortnite or PUBG on a VR headset in real time with zero lag all through your phone while traveling in a fleet of self-driving cars going 200 miles an hour. Sit tight, because the future of gaming and everything else is about to change forever. If you look up into the corner of your phone, you're probably used to seeing a little indicator that says 4G LTE, or 3G, or God forbid, 2G. And you've come to understand that it probably has something to do with your phone's connection to your mobile network. The higher the G, the faster the connection. It's pretty easy to follow. The G stands for generation, and each subsequent generation refers to a specific minimum speed, connectivity, and reliability necessary to classify that network as a particular generation. 1G let us talk to each other. 2G let us send messages. 3G gave us broad data and internet, and 4G LTE made it a whole lot faster. But all that's in the soon-to-be past, because up on the horizon is 5G. And while you may be thinking that 5G is just a little faster, a little more reliable, and a little newer, it's actually a massive breakthrough that's going to change the way devices connect to the internet, and more importantly, to each other. In fact, as 5G rolls out over the next 2 years, it's going to change, well, everything with a wireless connection, which at this point is, well, pretty much everything. So what's so special about a 5G future? Well, first of all, it's fast, like really fast, like 20 gigabits per second over wireless fast, like 100 to 250 times faster than 4G. Because by comparison, 4G provides speeds on average of about 10 to 20 megabits a second. So that's like going from streaming one Netflix movie in HD to streaming 400 movies in 8K at the same time. And while that's really impressive, that's not the most impressive part. What sets 5G aside is its crazy low latency rate, which is the amount of delay between the sending and receiving of information. Now, 4G tends to average about 100 to 200 milliseconds. And to be fair, 100 milliseconds is fast. Human reaction time is about 200 to 300 milliseconds. But 5G will get it down to 1 millisecond. That's almost real time. And being able to send and receive information in what is essentially real time means that we can use 5G to replace real-time interactions. What does that mean? With 5G, you'll be able to interact with people, objects, or characters controlled by someone else with no lag on either side. So play a real-time first-person shooter on your phone. Control virtual objects with other people simultaneously. Put on a headset and fly a drone or drive a car that's somewhere else in real life. Or better yet, let it drive itself.
It's a great video. You guys will enjoy watching the rest of that. So the point is, we are collecting a lot of data, but when you have so much data that we're collecting, the 5G is going to be needed. So this right here kind of gives you an example of just what this really means. So right now, our internet capacity will be 78 octillion devices. Can't even comprehend octillion. What that means is every grain of sand on Earth could have 1 trillion IP addresses. This will open up the door for the Internet of Things that we'll jump into in a couple seconds here. But what does this mean for commercial real estate? Well, there's going to be revenue opportunity for building owners who want to lease interior space to telecom providers for locations to set up micro data centers. So that video goes on to say that they're going to need to have a lot more of these things set up to be able to have the coverage they want. Also, there's other potential income streams, because if a landlord decides that he wants to offer this as the building network, now he can start charging his tenants the expense for, instead of them installing their own wireless network, they can just use the buildings. And lastly, it's estimated that tenants will save 20 to 30% on utilities on building equipped with a 5G network. So I mentioned the Internet of Things. That is the next trend I want to walk you guys through. What does that really mean? Well, every device that consumes power will have an IP address. So let me just kind of walk you through some examples real quick here. So who is using the Ring doorbell? So right now it's great. I have it for my house. When we did the London conference, I put this on so that while I was away I could see, but there is latency. Someone drives up to my house, they drive away, then my phone goes, hey, someone's at your house. When that 5G kicks in, it's going to be great. Also, there are suitcases that are smart. When you put all your stuff in, it'll tell you how much it weighs. You can put alerts, you can lock it up. You can even find its location if it gets lost. How about a bridge? So about 10 years ago, they had the bridge collapse in Minnesota. They rebuilt this one pretty quick. But they did something different. They embedded 400 sensors on this bridge. And that sensors is pretty nice. It can actually read the temperature, how many people are on the bridge, what's going on. So I would consider this a smart bridge. Here's a dumb bridge. But with the Internet of Things, we're going to start taking, instead of the internet right now, internet is people to people. We're connecting with each other. But the Internet of Things is where we are now taking and having a connectivity to things, devices. And here's another example. So in Park Avenue at Morris County property, this is Florham Park in New Jersey, the property management set up a mobile app for all of the tenants. On this mobile app, they're able to reserve conference rooms, view building events, review dining options, and any other conveniences that they want to do. It's kind of nice. Every single tenant gets told what the app is. They can load it on their phones, and they're good to go. Over in 500 West Madison, up in Chicago, they are using Kimberly-Clark's Onvation. It's a wireless technology that is embedded in the restroom paper and soap dispensers that gives real-time alerts to the maintenance staff when product is low or the dispensers are jammed. And for that size of a building, I have to say that's probably quite helpful. How about Deloitte over in Amsterdam? This right here is the world's smartest, greenest building in the world. Located in Amsterdam, it was operational in 2016. It's called The Edge, and it's the corporate headquarters for Deloitte. They put 28,000 sensors in this building. Every light has its own IP address. They're able to slash energy consumption by 85%. That's crazy. But here's another thing too, is that their workforce is 2,500 people, and they're very mobile. And I'm sure that they don't need every single desk, right? Every single computer open all the time. So they made the building 50% smaller. If they had built this 10 years ago, they would have had twice the footprint, twice the building size, twice the cost. But because of all these sensors, they are doing quite well. And there are some videos out there. We're not going to watch a video on it, but I thought that was very interesting. So what is the future going to be for commercial real estate? Well, we're going to be able to retrofit all of our current buildings with the Internet of Things, be able to put these sensors into our current buildings. And if owners want to take advantage of some of these savings, they can. And they're going to be looking towards us as commercial brokers saying, hey, You guys should be aware of this stuff. What could I do? If they find out this kind of stuff is starting to go on and another firm or another brokerage house happens to start revealing this technology, you could lose a listing because you're not being on the cutting edge helping these owners make good decisions for their properties.
Or security system?
He's asking, does anybody have the Nest and what else?
Thermostat or security system.
Or security.
It's a Google product. So really quick, to be fair and balanced, I gave Google some props earlier. I don't know if you guys saw the article about Nest, but Google thought it wasn't a big deal that they didn't tell anyone that there was microphones in those things, so they can listen to what's going on there. So I thought that was pretty interesting. They would never do that though, but.
All right. So we're a bit over. Can I keep going? You want me to keep going or want me to stop? I'm going to go fast. Here we go. Let's talk about augmented reality. That's a lot of fun. What is augmented reality? Well, this is where you're actually taking something that you can see in the physical world and you overlay a digital aspect to it. So Amazon or Google Maps is going to do this now.
High-tech Google Maps update. You take a look. Google is testing augmented reality maps, which are meant for walkers. It won't be out for everyone for a while, though. Google says it doesn't envision people holding the phone up the entire time that they walk. It thinks this is better for when you need to maybe stop and get your bearings. A reporter who got to try it says he could take a picture of a building and Maps knew right where he was.
That's pretty cool. Also, Walmart, they are now training all of their employees with virtual reality. What they do is they put them in the middle of Black Friday. And some of the responses, they're like, holy crap, because it feels like, and you can hear the sensory overload that you're in the store. This is how they're training them. And Walmart said that they're planning on spending $2.2 billion for this nationwide. So how about 3D printing? We had seen the bone graft. Well, this right here, 5 years ago, 3D printers cost $10,000. I looked this up yesterday. Walmart is selling them for $152. That's pretty good. And you only had 3 or 4 materials. There are over 160 materials now you can use for these machines. There are also, this is a brand new one, just came out a couple months ago. They are now saying that they can do 3D printing using light. So what they did is they put this light through this resin and created a 3D model. That's crazy. They're calling it the replicator, like Star Trek. That's what they're calling it. How about tennis shoes? Nike came out with a brand new. These are 100% 3D made tennis shoes. That's just crazy. Over in China, the longest bridge that was 3D printed, and it's pretty sturdy. That's crazy. It's pretty sturdy. How about in Austin, Texas? This is a 3D printed home. It cost $6,000. But not just homes. We'll be able to start having commercial buildings. In Dubai, they printed their first commercial real estate building. It was completed in 3 months. They used a 120-foot long, 40-foot wide, 20-foot tall 3D printer. They built it in 17 days. 17 days. And the cost was $140,000. Here's a quick video walking you guys through this amazement.
We're at the beginning of a revolution in the production of architectural form and buildings. The Office of the Future builds on the work of the automated construction community to be the first permanently occupied 3D printed building in the world. The structure was produced in a large-scale concrete plotting machine over a period of 17 days. The self-supporting concrete mixture was laid down in layers to form spanning trusses for the floor and roof slabs of the project. One technician monitored the function of the printer, while a team of 7 was involved in the installation on site. For the first time in history, it's now possible to take a computational model and convert it directly into three-dimensional form at an architectural scale. That's the real revolution of 3D printed architecture. The building skin is made up of a super insulating layer that projects over the glazed openings to reduce solar gain. These openings are designed to maximize sight lines to the surrounding landscape and bring natural light deep into the plan. The plan supports a range of public to private.
By 2025, Dubai wants to have 25% of all their commercial buildings 3D printed. It's pretty lofty. They're doing other things over there too. So nanotechnology, I've got 2 more and we'll be done. This is amazing. If you guys don't know what nano is, I thought from Iron Man, it's like nanobots, right? But really what it is, it's a measurement. The nanometer is a billionth of a meter. What does that really mean? Well, a human hair is 100,000 nanometers. That's very small. We have machines today that are actually able to work on things that small. And because they are putting these technologies together, they are actually having some great breakthroughs. And I'm going to walk you through just a couple of them here. So Nissan has began experimenting with paint, and this paint has nanotextiles that repels any type of dirt. So they took this through a mud pit, and on one side, that's what it came out as. You can see a little bit on the mirror still. On the other side, it's all dirty. Down in Mexico, they just got finished painting a building, and the building has a very similar thing. So now the buildings are kind of like keeping themselves clean. It is pretty amazing. If you jump on YouTube and type any of this in, it's amazing how some of this technology is changing. Also, they are putting nanos inside different types of concrete, and it's actually kind of helping repair itself, kind of growing on its own so that we don't have as many cracks in our foundations. Some great stuff coming in the future, especially with nanotechnology that will affect us as commercial brokers. If we move on to another one, which is the autonomous vehicles like Greg was talking about today. Quick question, how many here drove here in a driverless car? Now, if I ask that question within 2 years, I bet you the answer will be quite different. Let me kind of walk you through a couple things that's going on and what they've been able to accomplish. So Tesla is saying that their cars are going to be so safe because they are using the feature for the auto drive that you won't even have to buy insurance. In fact, Tesla is kind of getting into the insurance company because they're saying if you have their car, you don't have to have auto insurance. That's coming. Also, these are some of the looks of what the cars look like. That's Toyota right there at the 2019 CES. And then here's something that's interesting. This right here is a driverless truck hauling driverless cars from San Francisco here to Phoenix because we are testing these kind of vehicles here. I thought that was interesting. But here's something even more interesting. In 2018, this happened. This is my favorite part right here. The driverless truck decides he's going to pass this guy. That's just scary. But amazing. So commercial real estate, how does that impact us? Well, we start having all these autonomous cars. We're going to probably start seeing a lot less cars in our parking lots. How is this going to affect our buildings? How is it going to affect our owners? There is already word right now that they are currently building garages slated to be converted back into an office building at later dates, because they're all thinking if this happens, they don't want to have the demolition of an entire parking garage when they can just convert it. So a lot of stuff. At this point, guys, this is our Technology 2019 panel and trends. Thank you guys for being here. It was a lot of fun. So, what are we doing next? Christy, anyone? What's our next step here? Break. Okay. Thank you, guys.